Alright, Playmore fans. Semifinals time. We had a great dub against D-Ray for that week 1 rematch in quarterfinals. It was definitely getting a little scary with Tarapago's healing, which was a great bring on his part. I definitely didn't need to risk Overquill on the Rapid Spin to break Shell there at the second half, and then try and just haze spam until I die then. I should just stay with Volcanion and broke. And then additionally, I should have sacked like Superior to the Scizor instead of Iron Treads, just so I can keep that choice band breaker for Tropicos. But we still were fine. We clutched up. There was definitely a big para mid game on when he did click +1 Earth Power, into Iron Treads, and he didn't get it because of the full para. So para is what it is, man. It was really good, unfortunately, to his team, and it's until they fix the mechanic, it is just a mechanic in Pokemon. So I'd never feel good about using it, but there are times where it's just silly if you don't. So, and that was the case here. Encore felt fine, but Thunderwave felt so good, and it proved it. It was the last second change, and I'm very happy I did it. That being said, we have semifinals against the Uzi Gunner. Uzi, I think we faced at least twice on this channel, maybe 3 times. I just know I haven't beaten him, at least this generation. Actually, I haven't played him even before this generation. But it's been close games every time. Like, it's only come down to like 1 or 2 decisions that have costed it. I don't really think there's been any hacks in our games necessarily, which is always good because we both, I think, do a really great job on the team building and prep side. Specifically, he always makes sure he has like one set that catches people off guard. Curious how much more that happens as we go further into playoffs. I know he had Poltergeist last week on Asui and Zoroark and was more of a physical set there. But I felt like I faced a few variations that might be able to catch me off guard, and I've used a lot of these Pokemon before that are on his team, so I feel like I kind of know the ins and outs, or potential brings anyways, so which is pretty good. But he does have Palafin, Darkrai, Zapdos, Glamora, Rillaboom, Rhyperior, Tinkaton, Suian Zoroark, and Hitmonlee, with his Terra captains being that Zapdos and Rhyperior. Even though Zapdos is obviously the more expensive Terra, the stronger Pokemon in general, I expect Terra more on Rhyperior this time around. I think he's used it more anyways this season compared to Zapdos. Zapdos is just kind of naturally good. Even though his team's very solid, I think he kind of wanted a better Terra pairing, but Zapdos is still, very good. If he does bring Terra, I expect it to be water, and he's just kind of like bulky, so he can switch in and roost on like Volcanion and Greninja more. Then he can threaten Treads now with a stab super effective move instead of just Heat Wave. Small things like that, which makes it very beneficial for him. But Rhyperior has a lot more options. Rhyperior can definitely be more of a setup variant with something in order to resist certain types, in order to get off the Rock Polish and maybe even an SD if he wants to be Double Dance. Or he can be a very bulky typing in order to resist the likes of Greninja, Superior, and Volcanion in like Dragon or Water with an Assault Vest and Solid Rock, and to be way more annoying. If he wants to be more consistent, I do expect the AV with Solid Rock Terra. But he can easily still be like a setup with like Terra Flying, Lightning Rod, or something of the sort. There was a few variants that I definitely face, and I think easily Rhyperior is the most difficult mon for my team to deal with. Apart from that, his top pick in Palafin. Luckily, a Terra Volcanion really scares that. Also, having just like Dragonite, Greninja, Superior, Regieleki, like I think I have ways of like threatening it enough to where it doesn't want to be brought, and he has other value in his Pokemon. I think it still has potential. He could technically still bring a Choice Band set, even though I don't think that's the best with Volcanion sitting around. I honestly expect like if it is brought, a Covert Cloak, Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Jet Punch, Fill-In Move, probably Ice Punch, in order to deal with the team and try and sweep me from there. He can maybe be like decently, especially defensive bulky on that as well. Or he could be a special attacking Palafin with the Soul Vest. I think that's valid as well. So I just have to be cautious of that if it is brought. Darkrai, he likes to gamble Hypnosis, unlike us. This, of course, was our MVP last season for Playmore, and now it is his MVP and the league's MVP as a whole for the season of BUBL. So he's been doing very well with it. He took every bit of advice I had at the beginning of the season in using a bulkier Darkrai in most situations, because that is exactly what he has done. Just have the necessary speed, a lot of HP, and then mix in a little special attack in there. And then you can still get away with Highway Murder. But he does gamble Hypnosis, unlike us, which is something that I'm a little bit prepped for. And even then, we just have to be cautious of like a nasty plot variant. I think Choice Specs is like decently valid into my team, but I just think he can definitely get a lot more with either a like substitute set or specifically getting off that Hypnosis. Ideally, we don't see heavy duty boots. If we see boots, this could be a little bit more annoying of a Darkrai to kill. But other than that, we can work around it fine. I do need to bring a Choice Scarf in order to have something that outspeeds it, because I'm not bringing Regieleki and nothing else on my team does outspeed that base 125. So Glamora is interesting. Glamora, like defensively, it definitely loses to a lot of the Pokemon on my team, but at like the same time, it can be very annoying for my team. I think a sub-corrosion set specifically, if it gets the perfect time in the mid-game, super annoying for me to deal with. Just because now my Iron Treads, which is meant to Rapid Spin, is now poisoned and can get worn down that way with Spiky Shield, plus Toxic damage, and then Overquill as well can get poisoned, which is typically, you know, the nice Darkrai or a Hisuian Zoroark check if it's specially defensive. But now it's getting worn down due to poison, which naturally doesn't happen without corrosion. Toxic Debris is like still okay, but not the best enemy. But if obviously if he doesn't have the Toxic on Glamora, then he's not going to be Corrosion. So I think a Choice Scarf set has potential. I think a Rock Polish set with Meteor Beam also has potential. I think it's definitely on the lower of my expectations or what is brought. In general, I think I would be surprised if we see no hazard removal in this game, which is definitely going to be big for my team. Rillaboom, very bulky and strong attacker, getting up that grassy terrain with priority grassy glides, is a great way to revenge kill a Battle Bond Greninja. However, he does really boost my Superior with Leaf Storm, which we can see is a massive issue for him. And Tinkaton, very similar to Screamtail and a fast fairy, not as fast as Screamtail, only base 94. However, it has the best defensive typing in the game with Fairy and Steel. Gigaton Hammer, we know it, we love it, crazy damage. Stealth Rocks, Encore, Thunder Wave, Knockoff, Taunt. Tinkaton can do it all. It's a very versatile Pokemon. Very good, especially defensively as well, which already makes it, I feel like, a guarantee bring into my team. But we still have to be cautious of that. In general, I think it should come anyways, just so Dragonite can't just lock into Outrage. I think he's smart enough to be as safe as possible into a top tier dragon like Dragonite. Hisuian Zoroark, 100,000,000% expect this. It just makes the battle a whole lot more difficult to deal with in terms of the mind games. But additionally, a Choice Scarf set into my team is very solid to pick up some necessary revenge kills. And just kind of like threaten the team as a whole, because even then if my Iron Treads gets +1 from a Rapid Spin or a Speed Booster, then he could still come in and potentially revenge with a Choice Scarf Flamethrower. He can also still be like Trick, Memento, but in general, Hyper Voice plus Shadow Ball does so much damage to my team. Obviously, one of the other things that definitely threatens Screamtail in the matchup, which is why I don't really like it too much, but it can be pretty annoying, so just have to keep that in mind. And also be very much paying attention to what takes hazards, what doesn't, what percentage of Hisuian Zoroark is at, and everything else is at. Like, I have to focus this entire game, which sucks because I'm about to do this soon, and I'm honestly kind of tired because I didn't get much sleep last night, unfortunately. And then lastly, Hitmonlee. Obviously, this can be an Unburdened Sweeper, which honestly, great bring on his part if he brings it with Unburden, because I think Screamtail is a bad matchup. I'm not bringing it, and if he can capitalize on it that way, it might be a little bit scary. Otherwise, he could bring it as the Assault Vest Rapid Spinner, but this also lets him be another check to Greninja if he doesn't want to bring Rillaboom in order to not give the extra boost to Superior additionally as well, if he just wants to be that Assault Vest set, because then he also gets the priority Mach Punch, which is decently helpful into some of my team members. So that being said, my team is pretty interesting. I went through a few different cycles of what it could be here, especially my Terras, specifically with Superior and Volcanion. And in the end, I feel like this one is like fairly consistent. It's just going to come down to the wire, really, at the end of the day. So as long as it's not a blowout, then I'm feeling pretty good that I at least tried my best with this team, because I think the matchup is in his favor overall, to be completely honest. Okay, so we do have a Volcanion here with the heavy-duty boots. We are very specially defensive this week, but modest nature with a little bit of special attack. Steam Eruption, Flamethrower, Roar, and Sleep Talk. Sleep Talk, of course, in case we get Hypnosis from Darkrai, we are able to click that, and now I have a 2/3 chance in order to click an attacking move that can 2 KO him, as long as like Grassy Terrain isn't up or he's in lefties or something like that. Or I can be get Roar and just phase him out, and if he's not Boots, that's even better because now he gets more guaranteed Hazard Chip. which is pretty big as well. And Roar is pretty nice in general as well, especially if I do expect like that bulk up Palafin that I might be potentially worried about. I can at least phase him out, force him to get more damage, and I can't let him do it as easily once again, which is pretty big. We do have just Terra Water. I am primarily focusing on Terra on Superior, but you'll see that typing is also interesting. However, Water has come into clutch in like 2 or 3 mocks. I think it was like 2. To where I can just deal with the Rhyperior a little bit more, not being weak to it, and then I can spam stronger Steam Eruptions and have more chances to get that 30% burn. I think burn chance is going to come into a big factor in this game, specifically against that Rhyperior and potentially the Rillaboom as well. I hope it doesn't come down really to that much percentage chances, but we will see. It is Pokemon after all, but Volcanion can do a good amount of work. It's really just to help against the Darkrai and Hisuian Zoroark for the most part. And even if I'm in a situation when I have Overquill in and it's like Darkrai, if I don't want to force the chance of me going to sleep that turn, taking the sleep churn, I click Sleep Talk the next turn, and I wake up and I get nothing out of it, I can go hard into Volcanion, click Sleep Talk, knowing I'm guaranteed to get 1 turn of Sleep Talk, and I can punish him that way. So some mind games there. But Volcanion can still do pretty well into his team, and I've also caught some Glamoras thinking that they can kill me, and they don't, and then they die to Steam Eruption, which is massive. Okay, and then next we have Overquill. Like I said, he has Sleep Talk as well. We have the Citrus Berry with the Sassy Nature, very special defensive again, but a decent amount of special attack actually too. We have Spikes, Barbarage, Mudshot, and Sleep Talk. Barbarage, very spammable in his team. I really enjoy it. Obviously, he does have the Tinkaton, but it's fine. I just get up a few Spikes. Spikes are really good into his team. They do very well. And then Mudshot is specifically just to help me against Glamora 1v1. If he is an offensive Glamora, I can 2-hit KO with Mudshot. Even if he's max HP, I guarantee 3-hit KO if he is Black Sludge. Thanks to our investment. So I can at least reduce his speed that way and deal with him. But because we are a minus speed nature, after 1 Mudshot, if he's a max speed Glamora, then we are not going to outspeed him even at the -1. Same with Tinkaton, which is fine. I didn't want to lower any of my other defensive stats or my physical attack stat, thanks to Barbarage being so consistent this game. And I really wanted the Mudshot to be able to do extra damage to the Glamora if possible, and pick up that sneaky KO, because at the very least he might think that I outspeed. So then he needs to switch out, which is big. So it can do a lot of work that way. Citrus Berry just lets us take some extra hits, specifically Glamora Earth Power doesn't 2-hit KO me now, and then Choice Specs, Hyper Voice from Hisuian Zoroark I can eat 2 as well, I'm pretty sure, or it's a roll for full, either or. It can be very annoying against his team, really help with the Darkrai, whether I'm getting up Barbarages once Darkrai comes out or I'm getting up Spikes, I can make it work. So Sleep Talk obviously isn't as strong on this as it is Volcanion with Volcanion's damage output. However, I can still get benefit out of it if I need to. So next up is Iron Treads. We are rocking the Shucca Berry, especially defensive. You can see the things I am worried about in this game with a decent amount of speed. We have Stealth Rock, High Horsepower, Knockoff, and Rapid Spin. This lets me check in case it is an offensive Meteor Beam. Rock Polish Glamora, I can keep that in check, and additionally the Shucca does help out against Rhyperior as well, lets me get off and knock off into it safely if I want to. But realistically what I'm doing with Iron Treads here is I'm getting up Stealth Rock. If Zapdos comes in, which more than likely it is, it deals with Iron Treads so easily. I can then knock off and remove his boots. Yes, there's a 30% chance we get stacked immediately. I swear to God, every time this Treads touched Zapdos and Mox, it got paralyzed. But it needs to happen, because as soon as Zapdos can start taking more Stealth Rocks, it really helps with the Pokemon in the back. So otherwise that thing can be a little difficult for me to kill, but I think now with this variation of the team, I'm a little bit more confident in it. So, and lastly, Rapid Spin to remove his potential hazards, as he can stack with Glamora if he wants to, and then Stealth Rocks with Tinkaton I think is more the guarantee this game, so because I do want to remove those from my last 2 Pokemon as well. And then we have Superior here, Wide Lens with the Choice Specs, if you know what I'm saying. So we are rocking a decent amount of speed, only enough for like a max speed Zapdos. I'm not focusing on a max speed Hisuian Zoroark just so I can have some extra bulk. It's a little bit of a gamble, but if Hisuian Zoroark comes, I think it needs to be Choice Scarf. Otherwise, it's just risking like losing to a lot more of my team. But Terra Grass Choice Specs Leaf Storm hits like a truck into his team. Resist in Zapdos, resist in Tinkaton, it doesn't matter. Tinkaton, unless it is like fully max specially defensive, Terra Grass, like if he's just max HP, for example, Terra Grass, Leaf Storm, neutral, into +2 Terra Grass, Leaf Storm, just 2 KOs Tinkaton, which is insane. These leftovers, it's a roll. But otherwise, they can just be extremely strong. Zapdos, we can even get that kill a lot easier. Rhyperior, even if it's Assault Vest and it resists, we can do a whole lot of damage. So I'm kind of committing Terra into something that I just need to hit the Leaf Storms, but we're going to. Wide Lens has been consistent. I'm trusting my GOAT. I knew this was something I'd have to do when I drafted this Pokemon. It's just a shame it's like happened a lot more with the rest of the team this season, but I have faith. It's Pokemon. For everyone that says it's a 50-50 if it's not 100% accurate, you don't play competitive Pokemon, and it shows, because you can't win and you can't lose without these moves. It's crazy. But Dragon Pulse, just in case we need to hit it, Terra Dragon Rhyperior for a little bit more damage. Giga Drain in case we do want to get some recovery in the grassy terrain. But more than likely, obviously, just clicking Leaf Storm. I want to get kills or do crazy damage. And then Glare, very situational, but could be very helpful to limit one of his potential sweepers that Superior does outspeed. And that being said, we do have our 2 main win conditions in the back per usual. I do have Bubby the Greninja with a Focus Sash here. We are Battle Bond with Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Grass Knot, and Counter. Focus Sash and Counter really punishing that Rillaboom with its Grassy Glide in order to kill me. I did have a variant where I was Rendo Berry with Acrobatics. However, Acrobatics was still very weak because I did want to invest a lot of attack into Greninja, physical attack. So even a bulky Rillaboom, which I did face a lot, was living at a decent HP stat. Counter, however, if he does bring me down to my Sash, he is guaranteed to just blow up, even with his high HP stat. So it's looking very solid for Greninja there. And additionally, the Focus Sash and Counter can help me in case he's that random like AV Hitmonlee, or if there's no Rillaboom, no Hitmonlee, and it's just a Rhyperior I was never able to get Chip on, then I can commit that way. There's a few options for it, but in general, it can do a lot of damage. If I see neither of those situations, I'm kind of regret not being Life Orb, but it is what it is. I want this to be able to win if I can. Rillaboom has been very consistently sitting in the back of my mocks. So if Rillaboom is brought, there's never a chance for Greninja to sweep without a set like this in order to live a Grassy Glide. So next up is Staraptor with the Choice Scarf. This is our way to guarantee outspeed Darkrai with something and do a lot of damage into his team. We are max speed with Adamant Nature. This lets us still outspeed a max speed Glamora by 1. So if he does bring, like a max speed Choice Scarf Zapdos or Palafin, then dang. But like if he brings those already, like what am I facing? So we have a Double Edge and Brave Bird to abuse the Reckless ability. Both are very key in this matchup just because you have the Hisuian Zoroark and you have the Zapdos being very annoying. Tinkaton and Glamora are obviously going to resist either, but other than that, it can do a lot of damage to his team. Rhyperior, obviously expecting the Terra on that. You might think, like, on paper, this isn't the best Pokemon into his team, but it has 1 Mox for me, and it has that let me gain a lot of momentum into the Darkrai when it's very clear that I'm Choice Scarf and he's going to die, and making sure I can keep that endgame in my favor with one of my sweepers. I do just have to be pretty cautious with the static on Zapdos. I think that is the main thing. If that 30% chance does hit Staraptor, the game into Darkrai and potentially Hisuian Zoroark does get a lot scarier. However, Staraptor is still very clutch in getting surprise KOs on a Rhyperior after Terra and just Zapdos in general. Like if he is a defensive Zapdos, I can just straight up 2 a KO with Double Edge, with Adamant Choice Scarf. So I think the team can do a lot of work. I definitely think it's going to not be a clean game. It's going to be one way or another for a person, or it's going to be an equal amount of hacks on both sides. I think there's, after doing a lot of these mocks, it can swing either way for the majority of it. So I'm very confident that I have the potential in beating Uzi, because I know I am capable. I don't like have any like fear factor or anything because I'm like 0-2 or 0-3, whatever it is against him. I know I can beat him. If anything, I'm just not big on the matchup here. I don't think it's great. But I have faith in the team, and if we make finals, we make finals. I'm hyped for it. If we don't, then I can still just get some rest because I have a flight in 8 hours. So I'll see you guys in the battle.